Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing a one photo layout and I'll be using this sketch by Heather Walker. If you go to my Pinterest board, you'll see more sketches, lots of sketches and lots of ideas for scrapbooking. I'll try to remember to link that. Today I am going to be using the Pebble Sunshiny Days collection. I'm scrapbooking the first sort of summer photo that I have taken this year, and so I just thought this collection was perfect for it. I loved that floral paper and I decided I wanted to use it as an entire background. And when you have a paper like that with so many colors, it's easy to coordinate your papers to it because you just have to pull colors from that background paper. Now it's also made easier by the fact that I'm doing this all within one collection, but that's a good way to start out any layout when you're trying to decide what colors to use. If you're not sure of what colors to use, you can pull those colors right from your background paper. So I cut a strip of that yellow paper, and I forgot to tell you that the floral paper from Sunshiny Days is called Floral Garden. This yellow paper, which says happy on it, is called Daydream. And I cut a strip of that because I like the message there that I'm happy, which I am. I've got a beer in my hand. I'll tell you a little bit about that story. So I decided that would be a good one to use. And then I wanted to bring out some of the red from the label in that beer just because the background paper is so busy and the photo itself is pretty busy. So by bringing some red into my layers there and the layer that's right underneath the photo, I'm really bringing your attention to that photo. And that red check paper is called Sweet Cherries. There's a bunch of cherries on the back. It's also kind of appropriate because that red kind of reminds me of a picnic, and this is, you know, a food and beverage kind of photo. And I went through my die cuts here. I found that journaling card there, and I like that that's bringing out the blue. The background of this paper is very blue, and then there's lots of kind of aqua colored accents here. So I use that, and that's just from what they call the die cut pack is called ephemera. And now I'm going through because I want to use flowers on this layout just because there's so many flowers in the background. I thought it was just kind of a nice way to do that. And then the other thing is the story behind this photo involves flowers. So you may not pick up on that, but I know that when I'm looking at this. Now I'm looking at the accent sticker sheet for Sunshiny Days, and I'm going to pull some flowers off of that sheet as well. I know I like that big pink one on the bottom there, but I'm trying to decide what to do at the top because I didn't like the colors, nor did I like the size of the rest of the die cut pieces from the ephemera pack to do something on the top left. And if I remember correctly, that is the way it actually is in the sketch. So I did play with maybe using those clouds up there, and maybe the sun because it was a very sunshiny day, which would have worked, but I didn't love it just because it's not really necessarily a flower. And I do like that hibiscus flower in general, but I thought it was a little bit too dark, that it blended a little bit too much into the background up there. So I'm going to keep looking here to see what else I can find. And I'm kind of playing around, and I find this floral sticker here. Now that pink also is very close to the red background, but because it has the white outline on it versus the stickers which didn't have any outline, it stands out against the red check. So that's why I'm choosing to use that versus some of the stickers. And I will definitely bring the stickers back in. I just need to take a look at that. And now I'm just working on positioning my photo. I want the top and bottom edges of that photo to go on either side of that yellow strip. I don't want them lining up directly, either the top or the bottom lining up with the yellow strip. And then I also want room on the bottom of that strip, but I want plenty of room on the top to do some sort of title. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do there yet. So I kind of like that positioning, so I'm going to tack that down. And I'm liking the relationships between the space at tops and bottoms there. And you can see that when I glue, for those of you especially who are new scrapbookers and happen to be watching this, I glue from the top down with my paper layers for sure, if not other things as well. That way there's less chance of things moving. If you go from the bottom, things can very easily move. And I got a little bit of the ATG. It was on the paper outside of the photo, but it rubs off really easily when you're using the ATG as your adhesive. So now you can see. Now I did glue, you know, this is a top layer here, but I was gluing the important layers. Once I get my photo and my paper layers positioned, then it's easy to start getting my die cuts positioned as well. And sometimes I wait to get all of my pieces ready, and sometimes I just do what I'm doing right now, which is to just start gluing down. Now the one thing here is that pink die cut is on top of a flower that really basically matches it. It's the same thing. So I'm going to do something to kind of to disguise that flower that's on the paper. Best way to describe it. First, I'm working though with some of those accent stickers that are on the top there. So I've used a white hibiscus and a yellow hibiscus, but then I decide that I really want to bring in some more of that dark blue from the background, so I put a blue flower there and take the white hibiscus or the yellow hibiscus off and move it down to that bottom cluster, and that does a really nice job of sort of camouflaging the pink flower beneath. It's still peeking out, but that's fine. And then a little bit more blue down in that bottom layer as well. All right, and then what I did is I'm grabbing some of my Scotch foam tape, and I just keep, if I have to cut like a strip off to make it narrower, I just keep it on a little dish that's to the top of my mat there. And so when I need a small piece like I do for these flowers, I can just cut that off and make it really easy, so that I'm not always constantly cutting whole pieces from my foam tape or wasting the foam tape. And I go through just a ton of this foam tape. I like it because it gives me more layers in my background. Another thing to do if you find that you're not, for your personal style, that you're not liking how busy that background is, you could do a couple of things. One of them is just to lay a sheet of vellum over the top of it, and that probably would have looked really cool as well here, especially now that I'm looking at it and thinking about it. That might have been a really fun change, because it would have pushed the flowers more into the background, so that would have been really pretty. The other thing you could do is take a light coat of gesso, some white gesso, and you could have put it on the background, the whole background, or just kind of underneath where the photo and the red layers sort of are, just to have that stand out a little bit more. So if you're finding this is too busy for you, or background papers that you're looking at using, that's an idea for you, is to use vellum or use gesso to help kind of tone that down. But personally, I like the bright colors here. All right, now I am looking at the puffy stickers from this collection, and they're just called puffy stickers. And there's quite a few flowers here, so I'm going to use 3 of them, I believe. Yes, 3 of them. And I started out because I just wanted to put a little bit of a flower on that journaling card, and I am going to do it, but I'm going to use another one. It just gets a little more dimension into the layout itself. So I found a pink one there, and I found a pink one for a pinkish red one, and then I'm going to change the one at the top out. So that is also a pink color as well. I just found the yellow up there was drawing a little bit too much attention to itself. Be the best way to describe that. All right, so now I have all the puffy stickers on. The next thing I need to do is figure out my title, and I'm thinking that I want my title to go above the photo there, and I'm very relaxed in this particular photo, so that's how my title starts out, as the word relaxed. And these are the American Craft stickers in rock. The font title is called Rockabye. I don't have oh, I'm sorry, I can't think today. I don't have a name for the font, or like name for the color of the font. It's just Rockabye. And these are fairly old, but I love them because they're dimensional, but they're small, which is nice when you have a busy layout like this particular layout. So the story behind this photo, and the reason I'm so relaxed and have a beer in my hand, is this past weekend when I'm recording this, we had a very very warm and busy weekend, and the warmth that was in the high 80s in my home state, which is unusual in the early part of June where we are right now. And it was the first weekend that I had where I could actually plant flowers in the pots that I was going to put around my house. So I was planting these pots when it was more than 80 degrees out, and I was sweating to beat all get out. So I auditioned, put my title on the wax paper, and I auditioned it around my layout there below the photo, and then also below the journaling, just to see what I liked there, because it's too long for that red paper. So part of the title will be on the red paper and part of the title will be resting just on the photo. And I don't always really like that when that happens. I a lot of times like to keep it just on one color. But in this particular case, that's the way it worked. And I decided to do it that way. So then the rest of the story behind this photo is I planted all the flowers and they looked really beautiful, and I put them in the places I wanted them and watered them, and then brought out the rest of the lawn furniture and things for the deck. And by the end of that, I was really hot and sweaty because of the temperature. So that is my favorite time to drink beer. I tend to be a wine drinker, which you know if you followed me at all. But on a really hot day where I've been working hard, I like to have an occasional beer. And so I had a beer here and took a photo of it with my feet up. And this is my front porch in the shade here. So I now have the word relax down, and I'm moving that flower, that blue flower, a little bit just because I wanted to get that relaxed and to have a little bit more space. And now I'm thinking about journaling, and normally I would journal in black or brown or maybe gray. But I decided that that would just stand out way too much, that you'd see the journaling too much. So I went to my collection of Zig Writers, and which are old. I've had them for many years, probably since, oh my gosh, probably 2006, 2007, maybe maybe even 2005. And they still do work, which is awesome. So occasionally when I need colors for journaling, that's where I go to. And I found this is the pure pink color here. And it looks really nice with the pink in the background paper there. I tend to journal in neutral colors, but every so often, to my eye at least, the journaling calls for something a little bit different there. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to do this on camera. I don't remember. But as I'm writing this, I realized that I have a layout called Relaxed already, or Relax in my books. And yeah, I can use that title as many times as I want, but I decided that I maybe wanted to change that up. So I'm going to add the words "so very" above that relax. But if I remember correctly, it's a few days since I've done this video, but if I remember correctly, I do that after the video is over, and that is exactly what happened. So I'm just about done here. Check out that title change and the still shot coming up here and a couple of detail shots. Hope you're all well. Bye.